What if Naruto was an even greater prodigy than Minato Part 1? If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Disclaimer, I don't own this what if. All throughout Konoha, the village was crying from the recent loss of their hero and arguably their strongest Hokage. By far the loudest cries could be heard in a room where the cries of a newborn baby were very strong. Konoha, secret room. It's as if he knows that he has lost both of his parents. From what Minato told me, the kid has not stopped crying since Kushina passed, said a tall man with white spiky hair. There was a conversation being held between only a select few of the Konoha's shinobi in the room with the newborn baby boy. Yes, today we lost many good shinobi. The civilians still fear for their life. Most of the land is up in a blaze, but on top of it all we have lost our fourth Hokage and the last heir of the Uzumaki clan, Kushina Uzumaki. The saddest part of all is that this child won't know what they even look like, said the second voice of an old man who looked to be in his late 50s. Jiraiya-san, since you're this boy's godfather, what do you suppose we should do? Jiraiya began to speak in a low and sad manner. Not sure, sensei. I'm sure Minato would want me to watch over the child, but I have to travel a lot, so I'm not sure what I would be able to do. The real question is, what will the village do now? Minato died without claiming a successor. All of the men in the room went silent, waiting for the former Hokage to speak. Jiraiya-sama has a point, Sarutobi-sama. Without a Hokage to lead this village, the other villages would see this as an opportunity to attack us. This man was a mature Byakugan user in an expensive lavender kimono. Sarutobi closed his eyes, saying, I will take up my title of becoming Hokage yet again until I can find a suitable replacement to run the village. He faced his former student and one of his most loyal ninjas, Jiraiya, telling him, Jiraiya, I have a mission for you. After everyone agreed with Sarutobi's decision by retaining his title as Hokage, Jiraiya responded with, what is this mission you have for me, Sarutobi-sensei? I want you to try and deceive the other villages with your spy network so that we have enough time to heal our ninja squads and rebuild Konoha's defenses. Sarutobi instructed him. Jiraiya responded to the old gauge, I never intended to use my spy network for that purpose, but it seems I don't have a choice. By the way, Sarutobi-sensei, you should change the child's last name from Namikaze to Uzumaki. The elder ninja understood what he meant by that, since Minato had many enemies in Iwa, including the Tsuchikage, even enemies in other parts of the elemental nations. The Uzumaki clan is one that has long since faded into darkness, with very few remembering the clan. Very well, I will have to change the boy's name to Uzumaki. Sarutobi at that moment remembered a very important document. Hayashi-san, I understand that you, Minato, Kushina, and your wife Hana intended to have both of your unborn child Hinata and Naruto to be married on their 16th birthdays. Hayashi responded, yes, both my wife and Kushina talked about it, and in the end me and Minato agreed and he finalized it before his death. Understanding where Sarutobi was going with this, he spoke before he did. Don't worry, I never go back on my word. Hinata will marry Naruto Uzumaki as planned. Demon container or not? Adding extra tone to the final part of his statement, Sarutobi, sensing the seriousness in his voice, happily nodded and told them he would announce Naruto's name as Namikaze the day of his 15th birthday or earlier should he need to. The meeting concluded with Sarutobi telling everyone present in the room that anyone who spoke of Naruto being the demon container would be violating an S-classed secret. They do not want him to know about anything in relation to the demons, so that at least the child could at least grow up without being shunned by other ninja and villagers who did not know of him being the demon container. As everyone was about to leave the room, Hayashi spoke up, Sarutobi-sama, I would like to ask that Naruto stay with me and my clan. My wife would be more than happy to look after Naruto. Sarutobi said, that would be best. Most Jinchuriki are hated for just being the jailer. At the moment he is more valuable than the Sharingan, so I hereby announce the Hyuga clan to be Naruto's guardians until his 16th birthday. Hayashi with a happy smile thanked the old Hokage and then turned around and picked up the crying baby and then proceeded to leave the room. As Sarutobi stood there and watched Naruto go into safe hands, he turned to Jiraiya asking, "Why Naruto?" "Excuse me?" Jiraiya responded. "I'm just wondering why you chose Naruto as a name." Sarutobi stared at Jiraiya before the white-haired ninja answered, "I was going to ask Minato to name him after one of my former pupils. He thought about it and when I told him the name he wanted to switch out the parts of the name, go withdrew, so we came up with Naruto." Jiraiya looked down in sadness. "I was aware of your hidden rain students from Tsunade sometime during the war. What was the name you wanted for him originally?" The conversation with Jiraiya piqued his interest. Jiraiya only told him the name with pride in his voice. Nagato. He was going to be named Nagato. Konohagakure, Hyuga clan compound. October 10th was remembered as the day the nine-tailed demon fox was killed by Konoha's Yellow Flash, who also bravely sacrificed his own life to kill the demon. Hayashi walked away from the Anbu hideout with a sleeping baby in hand after the important meeting he was called to with Sarutobi and Jiraiya. He saw ninjas and villagers were holding a candlelight vigil for Minato, which made him happy knowing that everyone cared for his friend. Approaching his home, which was undamaged from the battle, he encountered his twin brother Hisashi. Hisashi spoke to his brother, "I received your message as soon as the fight was over. 20 Hyuga branch members went to fetch your wife from the safety zone. She should be here in 10 minutes, Hayashi-sama." Hayashi never really liked it when his brother referred to him as if he was not his brother. Placing a comforting hand on his shoulder, he said, "Hisashi, I told you already, when the elders are not around I am your brother, not your superior." Hayashi spoke, "I understand that, brother, but it's become a force of habit," Hisashi said with a smile. Hisashi then took notice of the baby in his brother's arms. "Whose child is that?" Hayashi looked his brother in his white eyes, whispering, "This matter cannot be spoken in public. Let us go inside and wait for the elders and our wives to return, then I'll tell you." "Brother." Hisashi, still wanting to know, agreed with his brother's decision and said he'd wait. As they headed inside, they found their way to the Hyuga's main garden, taking a seat near the pond, watching the koi fish swim about in the water. The silence between the two was great, and the younger twin wished to speak. "Hayashi, when will Hana-chan be expecting?" Hisashi spoke, breaking the silence. Hayashi answered his brother, "Hana is expecting our firstborn Hinata in December." Hisashi was at one point confused about his unborn niece. Why name her Hinata? After all, that name means sunny place, and if you look around a broken bar. Well, things aren't that sunny here. Hayashi smiled. Hana-chan wanted to use the name, and I didn't want to argue. She had said that Hinata could be the child to brighten up the Hyuga clan's seriousness. Hisashi couldn't help but chuckle. "She yelled at you, didn't she?" Hisashi didn't respond verbally, but instead gave him a wider smile. A few minutes later and he asked, "Anyways, brother, how is Neji-kun doing?" Hayashi spoke to his brother, still with his smile. "He is doing fine. He is with my wife." Before he could say more, the door leading to the garden opened, revealing a few older men and women as well as 2 other women and a small baby. One was wearing basic Hyuga clothing, her hair was tied in a low ponytail and was holding a child in her left arm. The other was wearing an expensive kimono with a second kimono over her shoulders. Think of Shunsui from Bleach, with lavender flower designs on it. But she had a which was noticeable is that this woman was pregnant. Both men quickly moved to their wives to hold them in embrace after such an event like tonight. The 4 stood there holding each other before finally Hayashi's wife spoke up after noticing that in his arm was small baby. "Honey, whose child is that you have there?" Hana asked him with curiosity. Noticing the eyes of the elders, his wife, brother and sister-in-law, were all staring at him, waiting for him to answer. Hayashi took a deep breath and told them, "What I have to tell you is considered an S-rank secret, so speaking of this matter outside these walls will result in your death no matter how high up you think you are." Using the seriousness in his voice and with his smile gone, he spoke again, "I must have your word that none of you will tell no one of what I'm about to tell you." Everyone who was gathered there all nodded, some with fear as to what was so important that if it was spoken that they would be killed. Hayashi with a serious tone announced, "As you all know, Minato Namikaze died today protecting the village against the Kobai." Everyone nodded again. "What you all don't know is that he didn't kill the demon, he instead sealed the monster away." Everyone gasped. They all thought the monster was dead. One of the elders spoke, "Where is this monster, and why are we not doing anything to kill it once and for all?" Hayashi answered, "The demon is safely sealed away by two of Konoha's greatest seal masters, Minato Namikaze and the Toad Sage Jiraiya." Everyone let out a sigh of relief hearing that at least the monster's escape was impossible with two of the greatest Fuinjutsu specialists, sealing. Kana, Hayashi's wife, spoke up, "Where is the demon being held at?" Having said that, everyone moved closer with anticipation. Hayashi now worried even more, holding out Naruto a bit, removing some of his blanket away from his stomach, revealing the seal. "The demon is sealed here with this baby as the demon's jailer. So think of this child as the demon's prison, guard, and warden." Gasps all around when they heard him say this, but even more shocked when he said, "Everyone welcome Naruto Uzumaki within our home, as from this day on he will be living here." Smiling, he looked at his smiling wife. He spoke, looking at a sleeping Naruto, "Welcome to your new family, Konohagakure." After talking with the remaining Hyuga elders after announcing Naruto's stay at the Hyuga compound, everyone eventually decided it was best, as most Jinchuriki are not welcomed into most villages, if any at all. Every Hyuganin who was a Jounin or Anbu knew about Naruto's prisoner and all seen him as the hero their friend and comrade Minato would have wanted him to be seen as. Very few within the clan felt any kind of hatred or any kind of evil intent towards the baby, not including the rest Konoha's ninjas and villagers. Hayashi knew that some of the Hyuga elders didn't trust the lives of their clansmen and comrades in the tiny hands of an infant. 2:32 a.m. Hyuga compound. Three shadowy figures were moving outside the walls of the Hyuga clan, reaching a spot where they've talked about meeting up at for a few nights now. "Alright, first we need a distraction. I want you two to attack the main gate, while I slip in unnoticed." The other two ninja nodded. "I will sneak in once you two hear the signal." "Understood?" Again both ninja agreed. One spoke up before starting. "What will we do afterwards? Even if we are successful, the Hyuga clan will have our heads for even stepping foot on even a pebble in their home." He was beginning to have second thoughts. "Don't you understand that there is no going back after this? So let's." Just before the ninja got to finish, his body began to spasm out of control. The other two ninjas stood up to see a Hyuga standing behind their leader and his palm extended facing them. "You plot to kill a member of the Hyuga family. Though he has no blood ties with us, an attack on one of my family is an attack on us all." The two ninja turn around to run away, but right when they turn their back to their attacker, both men were hit square inches teeth center of their backs by the Hyuga clan leader. "Hayashi, the darkest parts in hell are reserved for betrayers. You betrayed this village the moment you plotted this boy's death." Hayashi spoke with venom in his breath. The two men spasmed and died like their leader, falling to the ground face first, blood coming out of their mouth, ears, eyes, and nose. Hayashi turns to the other Hyugas who came just in time and tells them to dispose of the bodies and that he will speak to the Hokage the following morning. Hayashi saw his brother appear just in time to see the three dead leaf ninjas to be carried away. He walked toward Hayashi saying, "There is no way they could have gotten this close to the compound. They obviously had help." Hayashi gritted his teeth. "We obviously have someone in our own clan who wanted this assassination to be accomplished." The ninjas taken out of their sight, Hayashi tried to contemplate who the traitor or traitors were that wanted Naruto dead. 2 weeks later, December 27th, Hayashi waits patently with Naruto in his arms, as well with the Hyuga elder and 10 Hyuga branch family bodyguards. Hayashi is among the bodyguards. They waited for what seemed like an eternity before the doors opened up, revealing a busty blonde ninja walking up to Hayashi. "Hyuga, Hayashi." She greeted him with a formal bow. "Your wife is doing fine, she is healthy, and your daughter is just as healthy. You can see them both now. My only request, Hayashi, is you attend and 2 more are allowed inside. Keep this brief, she needs as much rest as she can get. Hayashi bowed to the Sannin and thanked her. He turned to Hisashi and their father and asked them to join him inside. Walking inside with Tsunade following close behind them, Hana was laying on the bed with a whimpering baby in her hand and her sister-in-law Kana standing by her side smiling and looking at the now father Hayashi. "Hello sweetheart, look at your new daughter Hinata." Hayashi looks at his daughter and he gave a whimpering Naruto to Kana to hold while he holds his newborn daughter. Again one of his rare smiles appear yet again. "She's so beautiful, Hana." He cradles his daughter in his arms. Hayashi and Kana move closer to get a better look at Hira broken bar. Then it happened. The little Naruto and Hinata fell deathly quiet when the two were close by each other. This greatly piqued his interest in what was happening, so he held Hinata closer to Naruto, and to everyone's amazement the two of them barely moved their heads in the other's direction and held out their hands to each other. Hana smiling proudly announces, "Looks like Naruto was waiting for his wife to enter the world. Since this is the first time since you brought him home I've seen him give any sign of happiness." All the Hyuga save for his father agreed and set the two down in a cradle next to Hana and watched as the two smiled and tried to embrace each other. Tsunade marked this in her doctor's log as the day the future prodigy and the heiress held each other. Turning to leave to let the Hyugas and the Uzumaki have some time to absorb what just happened. Truly a very happy day for the Hyugas. The following year Naruto and Hinata's birth, the other rookie 9 were born. Shino Obure born January 23, Sakura Haruna born March 28, Choji Okemaki born May 1, Kiba and Yuzuka born July 7, Sasuke Kaya born July 23, Shikamaru Nara born September 22 and Yamanaka born September 23. 4 years following the entire rookie 9's birth, the 8 of the 9 first meet in the park. "San, why do Choji and I have to go hang out at the park? I'd much rather watch the clouds while Choji eats his potato chips," Shikamaru asking his father. Shikaku and his friend Choza were walking with both of their sons toward the park and was annoyed with Shikamaru, who was being more lazy than himself. "Because if you don't go your cousin will get on my ass about me not taking you anywhere, and I don't know about you but I do not want to make her angry. Besides Inoichi and his daughter Ino-chan will be there as well," Choza interrupted told the little Nara. "Yeah, we will have the old school Inoshikacho there as well as the new generation." He looked down at his son Choji, seeing him snacking on a bag of BBQ chips. The four walked some ways before running into Inoichi and his daughter Ino before reaching the park. Shikaku thought to himself, Inoichi got the worst having a daughter instead of a son, that can be easy for him. The 6 continued on their way to the park, and when they got closer to the park they looked to see Sakura talking with a very loud Yuzuka boy. "Hey Sakura-chan, look, it's Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji," Kiba shouted. "No, Akamaru will not be born yet," Sakura covering her ears replied. "Kiba-kun, you don't have to yell, I'm right here." Sakura took this chance to run to her best friend Ino. The rest of the kids joined their 2 awaiting friends. The blonde and the pink hair girls went by a flower patch to make some flowering necklaces, and the boy Kiba tried to get Shikamaru and Choji to engage in a game, while the Inoshikacho trio watched from a park bench reminiscing about old times when out of nowhere someone spoke behind them. "Been a long time, Shikaku-san, Choza-san, Inoichi-san." The 3 men instantly startled and turned around to see Shibuya and his son Shino standing behind the 3. Choza spoke up to him saying, "You know you would be an excellent Anbu ninja the way you sneak up on us. I don't know whether to take that as a compliment or be insulted, as my friends don't really know that I was standing here for a while now," Shibi said with sarcasm in his voice. "Anyway, I have a clan meeting to go to, so do you mind watching Shino for me until I return? It shouldn't take long." The 3 men, having gotten over the embarrassment of not realizing how long the 2 were standing there, all nodded. Shibi nudged Shino to go play and watched as his son joined Shikamaru in just watching the others before disappearing. The 3 sat there watching the children protectively when they saw Hana Hyuga and Kana Hyuga walking over to the playground with Hinata holding her mother's left hand. and Naruto holding the other hand. The kid stopped and looked at the blonde-haired blue-eyed boy and the young Hyuga girl. "Alright, you two, you can play here for as long as you want. Me and Kana will be sitting on the bench over there watching you two, okay?" Hana told the two. Naruto was the first to speak while holding Hinata's hand. "Oba-san, me and Hinata don't know any of these kids. Why couldn't we just play in the Hyuga garden with Neji?" Hinata, standing next to Naruto, silently nodded. Kana spoke up. "Neji is with his father doing important training. I don't think Neji would want to train if he knew you and Hinata were at the park playing. He'd be right here with you two playing as well." She knew how much Naruto worried about everyone else and worries about himself second. Hana spoke up, "And besides Naruto-chan, it's important to make friends outside so that when you two enter the academy together you both will have more friends to come over and play with, right?" she said with her angelic smile. Her and her sister-in-law slowly walked over to a bench opposite to the three gentlemen they recognized. Inoichi spoke to the others. "Isn't that Hana Hyuga, Hayashi's wife?" Shikaku answered, "Yes, and that is their daughter Hinata Hyuga. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the other woman is Kana Hyuga, Hayashi's wife." He paused for a moment before saying, "That's the boy, isn't it? The Kiba jailer." Chose smiled and said, "Nostalgic, isn't it?" Inoichi and Shikaku looked at Chose confused. "He looks dead on like his old man, doesn't he?" The two older men agreed that he looked very much like his father. They were one of the few who saw Naruto as the hero he was. They were watching as Naruto and Hinata approached the kids and waited to see how things would turn out. Naruto stopped at the playground still holding Hinata's hand. He greeted the kids. "Hi, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. It's a pleasure to meet all of you." Hinata spoke up afterwards, hiding partly behind Naruto, gripping his hand tightly. "My name is Hinata Hyuga." Naruto hoped that having more friends would help Hinata over her shyness with new people. All of the kids answered back. "Hello, my name's Kiba Inuzuka." Yelling it out to the two, which he received a hit on the head from Ino. "Kiba, stop yelling, they are standing in front of you." "Anyways, hi, my name is Ino Yamanaka," Shikamaru lazily said. "Hi, nice to meet you." Yawn, name's Shikamaru Nara. Munch, my name is Choji. Munch, Akimuki. Munch, nice to meet you. He said, munching on some chips. Standing close to Choji, the Aburame boy spoke. "My name's Shino." "That's all." Sakura was the last. "My name is Sakura Haruno. I hope we can all be good friends." Naruto and Hinata nodded, and the blonde boy dragged Hinata with him so they can join the kids in playing on the swing sets, slides, jungle gym, etc. Hana and Kana looked on and smiled while the trio looked on and thought to themselves. Choza breaking the silence, "I wonder where Fugaku Akaya and his second-born Sasuke Akaya is. He's around their age, isn't he?" Inoichi replied, "Yeah, he is. Fugaku probably feels his son is too good to play outside the Akaya walls." Shikaku frowning, "Maybe he does. He's been obsessed with his older son Uchi lately. Most of the Akaya clan members are becoming shut-ins. Akaya compound inside the main Akaya house, but outside Fugaku's study. Sat himself and his second son Sasuke. Sasuke, I want you to become more like your brother, become stronger than you are now. When you turn 8 I will enroll you in the academy, you will become the number 1 in your class. Until then you will remain inside the compound. Understood?" Fugaku said with a stern voice. Sasuke nodded slowly and understood fully what his father meant. Ichi on the other hand was standing outside his father's study listening to the conversation, putting his ninja skill to good work without his father noticing, and thought to himself, "Father's up to something and it revolves around me and Sasuke." Ichi could sense something wrong, since the attack 4 years ago his father has been doing more missions than he normally would do and has been giving more of the kids in the clan more harsher training. His father and his clansmen were obviously up to something, but he wouldn't find out from listening to his father and brother talk. Deciding that he did enough spying, more silently took his leave of his home and off the compound to gather his thoughts. Konoha Children's Park. Walking around the village helped put him at ease. If he walked around his compound, he'd just be bombarded with praise from his clansmen not giving him the peace he so desperately wants right now. So he began walking toward the park the rookie 9 were playing at to clear his mind, and out of the corner of his eye he saw a blinding blonde-haired boy laughing and playing. Itchy watched. That's the boy I was told about. He continued to watch and had a strange feeling about him, like a pull taking him in his direction. He was unnoticed by the 3 clan heads and the 2 female Hyugas as well. He stood watching the blonde boy for a while longer. A broken bar Naruto Uzumaki, what is this feeling of anticipation in my head? Immediately shaking it off, he continued his walk around the village, finding a spot to sit as he watched the sun go down, wanting to figure out what his father had planned. Sundown at Amigakure Village's leader tower, Hanzo sits in his desk waiting for the daily report of the village when he's interrupted when a ninja was sent flying through his door with a black rod sticking out of his chest. Hanzo slowly stood up and saw the assailant walked in his office and over towards the dead ninja, pulling the rod out the dead corpse. I knew sooner or later you would come for your revenge. Hanzo spoke unfazed. The lone figure stood there looking at the battle, ready. Hanzo swinging his weapon, making blood fly off of it and onto the ground. Hanzo stood staring the man in his eyes there and pulled out his trusty sickle attached to his back, ready for battle. Let's finish this now. Nagato Uzakami. Yes, I made up last name. The man standing there with hatred in his turquoise eyes glued onto Hanzo, that is until the ninja's eyes began to change in both color and appearance. Hanzo immediately knew what he was doing and charged the ninja. All across Amigakure, explosions and shouts of battle cries could be heard all throughout the village. No ninja daring to go anywhere near the battle. An onlooker watched and spoke about the battle. He will win. No one's pain is more greater than his. Slowly looking up at the clouds as yet again it was going to rain, the onlooker spoke again. The sky cries for his pain. And my own. Konoha Children's Park. A pink-haired woman walked over to the park and yelled, Sakura, time to come home. Sakura turned around and told the others, bye guys, I'll see you guys again soon, okay? All the kids waved back to her. Sakura ran over to her mother. Kasan, I had a really fun time today and I made 2 new friends, they're really nice. Sakura's mother nodded with a smile and asked, who are your new friends? Sakura answered immediately, Hinata Hyuga, and Naruto Uzumaki. Sakura's mother froze at the last name her daughter said before saying, Sakura-chan, I know you just meet him, but be careful around that boy, okay? Sakura was confused and asked, why Kasan? He's really nice and he's really protective of Hinata-chan. Sakura's mother told her, Sakura, just promise me you will be careful around that boy, okay? Sakura, still confused, said okay, and the 2 walked back home holding each other's hand. Shikaka, noticing Sakura's mother Sakurai's expression, could only guess what was wrong before noticing Shibi appear behind him and his friends. Surprisingly this time he noticed. Shibi looked at the 3 before speaking, thank you for watching over my son for me. The 3 said it was the least they could do for a friend. Shibi called out, Shino, it's getting late, it's time to go. Shino turned around quickly and without a word waved goodbye to the kids and left. Then what surprised everyone the most was he turned around looking toward Naruto and spoke, I hope we can meet each other again at the academy. Naruto returned the look at him and told him, I hope so to Shino. Shino turned around and ran toward his dad and the 2 disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Kiba slowly sniffed the air and looked at everyone and told them, hey guys, I can smell my mother and my sister's scent nearby, so that's my cue to run along. It was nice to meet you, Naruto-sen, and you too, Hinata-chan. Naruto looked at him and shook his hand, and Hinata smiled and waved goodbye to him. Kiba started to run all on 4s away from the park. Hana and Kana stood up and called out, Naruto-chan, Hinata-chan, I think it's time we leave as well. Naruto turning around and yelled back to the 2, okay Oba-san. Naruto looked at Ino, Shikamaru and Choji and said, it's great that me and Hinata-chan got to meet you guys. I hope you can think of the 2 of us your friends. Shikamaru looked at Naruto and told him, no problem, and you can come over and stay the night anytime you want. as long as it's okay with Mika-san. Choji only nodded. Ino looked at them and said, of course you're our friends, and besides Hinata-chan can come stay the night at my house. I know she doesn't want to hang out with a bunch of guys all day. Hinata looked at Ino and said, IW would like that, Ino-chan, and you can come stay the night soon. She surprised herself as she noticed she didn't stutter that time. The five said their goodbyes and watched as Naruto and Hinata were running hand in hand with each other to the two Hyuga women. The Inoshikacho trio walked over to their kids and asked, did you three have fun? The three nodded and the six began their walk home. 6 days later, a Megakure shadow figure wearing red armor and a giant fan looked at the city. Then he looked at the ninja to his right. Yun Hanzo took this city and turned it into a battleground. He was a truly strong ninja. The ninja said nothing and looked on at all of his Rain Ninja followers and now Hanzo's former followers and spoke, from this day on I am your new leader, you will follow me without question and have an undying loyalty to me, am I understood? All of the ninjas standing there yelled they would follow him until the end. The red armored man looked on and couldn't help but smile and thought to himself, maybe he could be of some use to me after all. And his smile turned more sinister with that thought in his head. Konohagakure. Another 4 years passed since the 8 of the Konoha's Rookie 9 meet at the park. The year following Naruto and Hinata's 5th birthday, March 27th, Hinata's baby sister Hanabi was born. Naruto and Hinata were walking towards the academy for their first day with Neji. Since he was a grade above them, he decided to walk with them along with 3 Hyuga-chan and ranked bodyguards behind them. Over the 8 years of Naruto's life there have been 54 attempts on his life. 7 of them injured Naruto to the point of him going to the hospital for extended stays. Most of these happened when he would be playing with his friends at the park. Both the Hokage and Hayashi were so infuriated any ninja attempting to take Naruto's life was killed with no trial. Any villagers attempting an assault were imprisoned or killed. That made everyone who thought of Naruto as a demon steer clear from the blonde, though the 8-year-old boy was none the wiser about why these people wanted him dead. Naruto made best friends with all the boys who he met the day at the park, but hangs around Shino and Shikamaru in particular, and Hinata made friends with both Sakura and Ino. When they reached the school grounds, the bodyguards told the 3 that they would be close by the school just in case. Naruto hated that he had people watching him like a hawk, but he never once questioned Hayashi's authority. Walking on the grounds, Neji noticed a crowd of girls in one area which didn't go unnoticed by Naruto and Hinata as well. I wonder what's going on over there? Hinata said in a whisper. Naruto said to her, probably something important. Naruto at that moment made eye contact with Neji. Somehow these two didn't need to speak to understand one another. Neji whispered, Byakugan. The vein-like lines around his eyes shows that he was indeed a Hyuga. Neji looked at the crowd and noticed a raven-haired boy in the center. Neji immediately realizing who the boy was, he smirked and looked at Naruto. No one that you can't handle, Naruto. That's Sasuke Uchiha, the second son to the Uchiha clan. Neji knew Naruto was stronger than Sasuke. Flashback. It is true that when they are young the Hyuga children are put through intensive training for hours on end. This also included Naruto despite the protest of some of the Hyuga elders. Hayashi was teaching Neji, Naruto and Hinata the basics, while his wife Hana watched on while feeding baby Hanabi. Hayashi told them to spar with each other, and when they were done they were to do some exercises. He walked over to where his wife and baby girl were sitting and slowly picked Hanabi up. Hana spoke up to her husband. Naruto seems to have created his own fighting style. Hayashi looked at her and said, he's not only created one, but two. He calls it Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. Those two styles go well with how he fights. Hana looked confused. Let me explain. He says the Muay Thai, the art of 8 limbs, uses both of his hands, elbows, shins, and knees to fight. The Jiu-Jitsu is strange, but he said he would only use it to break the bones of the one he's fighting when he grabs him and forces them to the ground. If you read my profile, yes, I watch UFC and I didn't like how Naruto doesn't have any style of fighting at the beginning, so I gave him Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. He's taught himself some valuable jutsu and other things as well when he's in the Hyuga library studying alone. Hayashi finishing his statement. Hana having a worried look on her face. He hasn't tried any of these on anyone, has he? Hayashi smiled at her and told her he supervises his training using shadow clones. Neji. Overhearing everything his uncle and aunt were saying, and took this moment to seriously spar with Naruto with the thought of Naruto getting stronger, so that he could have real match with Naruto. Flashback, and Neji told Naruto, "Get stronger." Naruto, looking at Neji confused, asked, "How come, Neji?" Neji, not making eye contact with Naruto, answered, "So that you could prove to everyone that you can make something of yourself, and not be tied down by destiny." He thought to himself, saying almost the same words his father told him, that not to let no one tell you that you can't do nothing because of how you were born. With that said, Neji walked away towards his class. "I will be the only one to defeat you." Stopping, looking back, he whispers, "I don't care which of us wins, as long as we make it a good fight." After Neji telling Naruto to get stronger, Hinata was smiling, because she knew Naruto was the one who helped her overcome her shyness and her depressing moods, and that it was him who was brightening up the Hyuga clan's lives. She also knows everything Neji said was true. Naruto had more will in him than any other ninja around. He never goes back on his word. He gets stronger every time they spar, but he was a lot kinder to everyone, just like her mother. Neji's never been one to lie to make others feel better, she thought. Tugging on his shirt sleeve, she tells him, "Naruto, let's go inside as well and find a seat so we could sit next to each other." Nodding to Hinata's request, they went inside. They greeting their friends and waited for the rest of the class's female population to attend class. This includes Ino and Sakura, unaware of a ninja's gaze upon them. A shadow figure with Imbu attire sitting in a tree, watching and listening to what Neji said, whispering to himself, "Not if I can help it. I will be the one to fight Naruto Uzumaki. This boy will be something special." Retreating toward the Hokage tower, thinking to himself, "Let's see if I can persuade the Hokage to letting me becoming a Jounin so I could have a squad of my own." Running and jumping from building to building, he says to himself with an activated Sharingan, "This will be most interesting. I've found someone who I am betting will actually give me a challenge." Inside the academy, everyone was seated and was ready to start their lessons. Some were talking to each other and some were sitting silently waiting for their sensei to arrive. There was a sudden twirl of leaves as two ninjas appeared before the children. One had somewhat blue hair in the standard ninja outfit. The second had the same outfit, except he had brown hair in a ponytail and a noticeable scar on his face. "Alright everyone, settle down and listen up. My name is Ruka Yamano and this is Mizuki. You will hereby address us as Ruka-sensei and Mizuki-sensei, understood?" Ruka spoke in a warm tone. All of the kids began to nod. Mizuki spoke up, "Alright, let's begin with introductions. I can assume a few of you already know each other, but still talk amongst yourselves for at least 10 minutes to better familiarize yourself with your other classmates." The kids nodded and began to walk around and talk to everyone, well, almost everyone. Naruto was walking to a few kids when he noticed some were moving away from him. Hinata noticed this as well and pulled on Naruto's shirt and told him, "Let's go over toward Shikamaru and the others, Naruto." Naruto slowly nodded, and as he walked away he heard the students trying to whisper, but he still caught what they said. "My mom told me to stay away from him." "Yay, my mom told me the same thing. My dad said something about him being some kind of monster or something like that. I saw him at a park and I saw a ninja try and attack him, but a Hyuga stopped the man and killed him right there." "Are the Hyugas the kids' guardians? The Hokage probably have them watch him, so that must mean he is a monster if a powerful clan like the Hyugas have to watch him." Naruto couldn't help but feel pain in his chest, as he remembered some of the attempts on his life and never knew why. When he first went to the hospital, all he could hear was Hinata and Hana crying because he had a broken arm and a stab wound in his chest just beneath his left lung, almost a fatal wound. Why do people hate me? What did I ever do to them to deserve such hatred? He thought to himself. They don't understand you, Kit. Naruto's head shot up immediately and looked around confused. Whoever spoke to him sounded like he was right in his ear. Hinata turned around to see Naruto looking around quickly. Naruto-kun, is something wrong? Naruto looked at Hinata and asked, Hinata-chan, did you hear a deep voice just now? Hinata looked around and shook her head. No, Naruto-kun, I didn't hear anyone else's voice. I only hear the students and none of them have deep voices. Naruto took one more look around before saying, never mind, it's probably just my imagination. He grabbed her hand and they walked over to Shikamaru, who was sitting with Choji. As they walked over to Shikamaru and Choji's desk, they passed up Sasuke's seat and all of his fangirls fighting for his attention. For some reason Naruto looked over, and at that moment so did Sasuke. The two locked eye contact with each other for what seemed like hours until Sasuke broke the glance and looked away. Naruto continued walking to his friends holding Hinata's hand. Sasuke thought to himself, remembering what Itachi asked their father about this morning before he left for school. Flashback by Kasan, Bite-san. I'm going to school. Mikoto was in the kitchen cleaning up while Fugaku sat at the table across from his older brother. Sasuke wanted out quick so as not to get caught by his mother's relentless kisses. Before he ran out the door, he heard his father and brother talk to each other, which he froze before grabbing the handle to the front door. Tell me, father, a little more of this Naruto Uzumaki. Itachi spoke with his usual glare. Fugaku looked up and Mikoto stopped doing the dishes and turned to look at her oldest son. Why do you want to know about that boy? Why would you show interest in him? Fugaku asked. I'm not sure how to explain it myself, father. The first day I seen him, I have had this feeling of anticipation. This has happened on many occasions before. I fight someone who I know will make me fight to save my life. Fugaku couldn't believe what he was hearing, that his son was about to say that this boy Naruto might be someone he should be worried about. He closed his eyes and asked, why would you care about the Hyuga's pet? I saw him train one day at one of the training grounds Hayashi used one day for the boy, and his fighting style and never die determination is something to be admired. I must say I am really intrigued with this boy. Itachi was about to let his father speak again before he interrupted his father. Never mind. Sasuke-kun, I know that you are there. Immediately Sasuke froze and he heard his brother say, wait outside, I'll take you to school today. Itachi, Fugaku, and Mikoto heard Sasuke's voice. Okay, Aniki. Then they all heard the door shut. Itachi stood up and as he walked away he told his dad, I can't explain it, but soon I will. He then turned and walked away. Flashback, and Sasuke recalled that neither him or his brother spoke on the way to the school. Only when they reached the school his brother only said he would pick him up after school. After Naruto passed him, he turned around and looked at Naruto sitting down next to Shikamaru and Choji still holding Hinata's hand. The four were laughing and talking about something. What is it about you that has Itachi so confused? Maybe I will be able to find out over these next 4 years. Sasuke's fangirls began to block his view of Naruto and he returned to his annoyed life of being surrounded by all of these girls, minus Hinata. The day went on with Ruka, and Mizuki told the students what they would be learning about for this first week. By the end of the week we will have a sparring match. This first week you will be scored on questions that we will ask and your endurance in your exercises you will be doing. Mizuki finished with, so show up tomorrow and we will have your lessons ready for you tomorrow. You are all dismissed. Everyone got up from their seats and started to leave. Neji was waiting outside of Naruto and Hinata's classroom for them, and he sees Naruto, Hinata, Shikamaru, Choji, Shino, and Kiba walk out. All of them talk about what the lessons would be on before the seven started to split up before hitting the main gate. Sasuke later walked out with of course his adoring fans, and he looked up to see Itachi waiting for him. Sasuke, how was your first day? He asked him. It was fun, we only talked to the other classmates to get to know them. Sasuke said with pout in his voice. The two were about to walk away when Ichi's eyes glanced over at Naruto, Neji and Hinata, who were walking in their general direction. Ichi put his hand on Sasuke's shoulder, telling him, "Wait here, Sasuke." Sasuke and some of the girls watched as he walked over to Naruto and the other two Hyugas. The three were smiling and talking when Naruto bumped into something, falling to the ground. "Ow! Sorry about that." Naruto looked up and saw a man with pitch black hair and eyes, black sandals, pants, and shirt with a small Uchiha crest on his left chest. "You're Naruto Uzumaki, right?" Hinata and Neji helped Naruto up. "I am, and who are you?" Ichi smiled, which didn't go unnoticed by the remaining students who were there and knew who Ichi was. "My name is Ichi Uchiha, I am Sasuke's older brother." Naruto gave a polite bow to Hinata and Neji. "Nice to meet you, Ichi-san. This is my older brother Neji and my fiancée Hinata-chan, both of them are Hyugas." Ichi bowed as well. "Nice to meet the Hyuga heir and the branch family's head son. I thought it would be proper of me to get to know you, in particular Naruto." Naruto looked at him confused. Before he could ask, Ichi rose his hand toward Naruto and said, "You will know soon enough. I will take my leave now. Goodbye Naruto-kun, Neji-kun, Hinata-chan." With another bow he turned and walked towards Sasuke, who seemed to have jealousy in his eyes. "Something bothering you, Sasuke-kun?" Sasuke looked at him and grunted. Ichi only smiled, but deep down he did a wide grin, thinking, "All I have to do is wait 4 years. I should bring the Hokage some sake and good tobacco from my next mission as a thank you gift." The two brothers and a few girls were walking away, much to Sasuke's annoyance. A Megakure tower sitting on the roof of the tower, letting the rain hit his head. He hears footsteps approach. "Pain, you have a visitor." A woman spoke, sporting a plain black cloak, a piercing in her bottom lip, blue hair and a origami flower in it. Turning around to look at her was a red-haired man with the same attire, and a few earring piercings, a piercing going through his left and right eyebrow, but the most noticeable was the 6 rings in his eyes. "Who is this visitor, Konan?" Konan, staring at her longtime friend, speaks, "Jiraiya-sama is here to speak with you, and apparently it is something quite important." Pain tells her, "I might have an idea as to why he's here. Rest assured I intend to just talk with him despite him invading my village." What happened next shocked her. Pain began to laugh. Not once since their friend Yahigo's death has he given a giggle, but he was laughing. Konan turned, walking outside to fetch her former teacher. Konohagakure, Hyuga compound. 4 weeks had passed since the future Rookie 9's first day, and Naruto was ranked as the 3rd of the top 3, with Hinata holding her place as 5th. Ruka, though, was a little worried about Naruto since recently he wasn't trying in the sparring matches with the other kids, so he wanted to speak to his guardians. He walked from the school toward the Hyuga's home and met with the guards at the front gate and requested to speak to Hayashi and Hana. "I'd like to talk to Lord Hayashi and Lady Hana Hyuga about Naruto Uzumaki, please." Ruka bowed to the guards. One Hyuga immediately went to find them, then returned about 10 minutes later. "Lord Hayashi and Lady Hana will meet you in the main study. I will take you there," he said politely. "Thank you." Ruka bowed and was led inside by one of the guards toward the study. He felt a little nervous since this was the first time he's been in one of the clan's homes. Mostly he'd call them to the academy. They stopped in front a room with 2 doors. The guard knocked on the door saying, "Lord Hayashi, Ruka-sensei is here." "Very well, let him in." Hayashi's voice could be heard from the other side of the doors. The door opened and Ruka stepped inside to see Hayashi sitting in his chair with his wife sitting to his right, and surprised to see Naruto sitting on a mat facing Hayashi, looking a bit nervous. Ruka walked toward the empty mat next to Naruto, formally bowed, then took his seat. "Thank you, Hayashi-sama, for seeing me on the shortest of notices," he said politely, looking him in his eyes. "Has Naruto done something wrong?" Hayashi asked with seriousness, looking Ruka back in his eyes. "No, Hayashi-sama. Naruto is a very good student," Ruka said as drops of sweat came down the side of his face. "Then why are you here?" Hana spoke this time, wondering what that problem was. Well. He turns to look at Naruto, and noticed the look of worry in his eyes like he did something wrong. Sitting straight up he said, Naruto is ranked 3rd in the class. Hayashi and Hana smiled and looked at Naruto before Hayashi spoke. You came here to tell me that? No, I feel that Naruto isn't motivated enough. He has become more well-tensed and he looks as if something's bothering him which has affected his performances in class. He has beaten Sasuke Uchiha a number of times over the first 2 weeks at the academy in sparring matches, it's just that afterwards he seems to slack off and purposely loses to Sasuke and Shino. He tries to hold the position as the 3rd instead of trying to go any higher. Ruka explained to the two. Hayashi turned his gaze so as to look at Naruto. Naruto. Immediately Naruto made eye contact with Hayashi. Is what Ruka-sensei saying true? Naruto weakly nodded, then Hayashi looked back to Hayashi bowing his head a bit saying, Ruka-sensei, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Naruto isn't one to run home yelling his grades to the other Hyugas. Ruka bowed then turned to take his leave. Once the door Ruka left out of closed, Hana looked at Naruto and said, Naruto, why do you wish not to remain on top? Hana spoke. Naruto always felt safe when Hana was nearby, not that Hayashi scared him, it was just her mother instincts he likes. Naruto again made eye contact with Hayashi and started to speak. Well, it's just that I wanted to make as many friends as I could, but when I beat Sasuke for the first time everyone started saying that I cheated. He tells them the story of his first sparring match. Flashback. Alright kids, Ruka-sensei and I would like to see where you all stand in terms of fighting. Since the first week is almost up, let's have everyone spar with each other by selecting the ones who have the higher points during this week. Mizuyuki-sensei stated to the kids, then looking at Ruka. The two teachers nodded as Ruka read of names on his clipboard. Let's have Naruto Uzumaki vs Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto and Sasuke walked away from their classmates and into the designated sparring ring. Sasuke looked at Naruto standing there with a smile on his face. I am going to wipe that smile off his face, Sasuke thought. Naruto watched as Sasuke made eye contact with him and saw him make that Uchiha's traditional you can't beat me look. Naruto only smiled, walked over to Sasuke and asked, Hey Sasuke, I know we don't really know each other, but do you want to be friends? Naruto held out his right hand to Sasuke. Ruka and Mizuyuki watched and saw Sasuke slap Naruto's hand away and told him, Why would I want to be friends with an urchin like you? Ruka frowning at that and wished Sasuke would get off his high horse and make some real friends. Mizuyuki was also disappointed to hear everyone cheer Sasuke on at what he just did, thinking it was cruel. Naruto said nothing, only taking a few steps back and got into his fighting stance, which everyone was confused about since this was his own fighting style. Sasuke took his steps back and got in his fighting stance as well. Mizuyuki walked toward the center and told them, This is a sparring match to see where you are in terms of skill, don't hold back unless you feel the need to, and if things get too serious Ruka-sensei or myself will stop the match, understood? Both of the boys nodded, understanding what was just said. Alright, begin. Sasuke immediately charged Naruto with a flurry of punches and kicks sent at Naruto. At this point Naruto was only using his hands to parry Sasuke's attacks as well as taking steps back to avoid and even allowing a few punches and kicks to connect. Sasuke was beginning to think, why should Itachi have to worry about this weakling? He hasn't tried to hit me once. The crowd was looking on cheering his name, which only added to Sasuke's ego. Hinata stood in the crowd and watched with some worry in her eyes. Shikamaru was standing next to Hinata asking her, why isn't he fighting back? Hinata turned to look at Shikamaru and told him, Naruto always does this when he has to spar with me, Neji or the other Hyuga kids. He's good at defending, but he does this to get a feel for the person's kicks and punches, speed, power and accuracy. Naruto is analyzing Sasuke and he doesn't even know it. He's setting him up for a big upset. Hinata said that last part with a smile. Naruto began thinking, his speed is tied with Hinata's, power-wise not too great, He ties his attacks together and follows through perfectly, but I can already read his style. He's still going for my face and rarely attacks my lower body. After finishing his analyzing, Naruto took one good jump back and positioned himself. Sasuke's fans kept cheering, giving him his superiority look. Is that all a Hyuga's pet can do? Maybe the Hyugas are lacking in strength. Naruto's eyes slanted and he looked more serious, holding out his left hand. He made the bring it gesture, which greatly annoyed Sasuke, who charged blindly at Naruto and again sent a right fist toward Naruto, and the last thing he remembered was Naruto's right leg coming too fast for Sasuke to predict, since he didn't have a Sharingan, and Naruto's foot connected with his jaw, stopping the Uchiha in his tracks. Recovering as quick as he could, he looked at him and tried to kick him in his ribs. Sasuke's kick connected, but Naruto followed through by grabbing onto Sasuke's leg and pulled it toward him, making him lose balance, and Naruto punched using his right fist and hit Sasuke right in the nose. As the Uchiha was falling, Naruto continued his assault by grabbing Sasuke's arm and began pulling on Sasuke's arm. Naruto whispered to Sasuke, "I win." Naruto fell to his back, still holding Sasuke's arm, with his right leg going across his face and his left leg went across his chest. Naruto started to lift his hips, making Sasuke's elbow, flexing at an angle it shouldn't, causing pain. Sasuke could feel that his elbow was about to snap, but before Naruto could complete the lock, he instead let go and stood up, looking down at Sasuke, who was rubbing his elbow. As he stood up, Naruto said to him, "Sasuke, I really don't want to hurt you, so let's just end this." Sasuke was now pissed and yelled, "I won't quit. You got lucky and that won't happen again." Letting anger take over him, he tried to punch at Naruto. Naruto barely dodged the punch and was barely nicked on his cheek, and he quickly tossed both of his hands around the back of Sasuke's head at the neck and locked in a vice grip. In one swift motion, with his grip still tight, he pushed back and then pulled his head down, and Naruto brought his right knee up and hit Sasuke in the nose again, except this time Sasuke went limp and unconscious, falling to the ground. Naruto quickly stood over him, checking to see if he was alright. Ruka noticed Sasuke was not moving, guessing that he was knocked out. Ruka walked over to Naruto and gently pulled him away as Mizuki ran over to Sasuke. Mizuki saw that the boy's nose was bleeding and most likely broken. Mizuki then announced, "Naruto Uzumaki is the winner." Hinata couldn't help but yell, "You did it, Naruto-kun, you're number one." Once she settled down, some of the girls in the class began to boo him. Hinata couldn't believe it. Some students and fangirls said he cheated. Ino and Sakura said nothing since they were Naruto's friends. He cheated. Sasuke wasn't even trying. That's not how a ninja fights. Sasuke deserves the match. He shouldn't have been able to beat Sasuke. And on it went, but some of the boys who watched didn't say anything, but smiled inwardly as they all thought finally someone beat that pompous of an Asakaya. Alright, Naruto. Naruto was stunned that everyone thought he cheated. Immediately Hinata walked over to Naruto and hugged him, and said, "Don't listen to them, Naruto, you won this one fair and square," she said in tears. He heard Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba and even Shina tell him that he did a good fight and that not to listen to all of the other students. Naruto said nothing, as he heard all of the insults from his victory. Flashback in, "And that's why I don't want to be number one. Every time I beat him they say the same thing over and over again. So I decided to lay off and drop to third rank." Naruto finished his story with sadness in his voice. Hana couldn't help but tear up. True, Naruto wasn't a Hyuga, but he was part of their family. She thought to herself, how much longer until he's fully accepted by the villagers and his fellow ninja? Hayashi was proud of Naruto. "Naruto, you did great, I am proud of you. You didn't let the other kids' words break you down and you didn't lash out at them. That shows good self-control. Whether or not you are number one doesn't matter as long as you know that you are strong. I am proud to call you son." Hayashi spoke. Naruto looking stunned and couldn't help but cry and say, "Arigato. I promise you I won't slack off again. I'll become number one and I'll be sure to keep that spot. I'll make you even more proud of me." He continued to cry until Hana walked over to him and hugged him. Hayashi looked over toward his door and called, You can come inside, Hinata-chan. I know that you are there. Naruto stopped and looked at the door to see Hinata walk inside, teared up as well. Hinata-chan, you truly are amazing as well. I have a feeling you had something to do with holding Naruto's rage inside him. He stood up, walked over to Hinata and gave her a hug. From what Neji said, you're ranked 5th in the class. You're doing great, Hinata-chan. You have a lot of competition this year, so all I ask is you try your best. Hinata smiled and said, Arigato-san. Hana smiled. She was right. Naruto and Hinata would be the two to bring the light into the Hyuga's eyes. Elsewhere in the Hyuga compound it was a dark room with only a little light, and 4 figures were standing in the dimly lit room. Do you understand your mission, you 3? An older Hyuga spoke to 3 other Hyuga ninja. 2 of the ninja paused and had a look of sadness in their eyes but agreed. The third stepped back with anger in his voice, shouting, I won't do it. Why? You're nothing more than a branch member and you will follow my orders. Shaking his head, the rebelling ninja spoke out again, I won't follow your orders no more, father. As the man turned around, I won't let this happen. He then felt 2 palm thrusts into his back, hitting his lungs internally, slowly falling down with blood coming out his mouth. He said only 5 words before passing out, I am so sorry, Neji. The 2 Hyuga ninja looked in horror at what just happened before the Hyuga looked at the 2, saying, if you 2 try what he has just tried, you will meet the same fate or even worse. Your children will. The 2 looked at him with venom in their eyes for the former Hyuga clan head. The older Hyuga said in disappointment, you are always a failure. Hizashi. Turning again to the 2 remaining Hyuga, he said, toss this trash outside the village, let him die slowly as the crows pick at him till only his bones are left. The 2 were forced to listen because of the curse seal on their foreheads. They picked Hizashi's limp body up, leaving the room. This is why those 3 must die. They bring shame to this clan. Your time will come, Hana, Hinata, and especially you, Naruto Uzumaki. Amigakure. There he stood, Amigakure's leader and supposed god. The man stood there and awaited his guest, although he had seen him some 4 weeks ago. He looked back and saw that Konan walked in with him. What is it you want this time, Jiraiya? Konan motioned over to Nagato's right, asking the question for Nagato. What an old sensei can't try and find his old students to say hi. Nagato and Konan stood there looking at him, suspecting him of something. Nagato spoke up, you came to me 4 weeks ago with news about an Uzumaki, a broken bar. I've yet to hear anything about such a person. Nagato approached him asking, what is it you want, Jiraiya-sensei? Jiraiya ignored the rudeness of his 2 former students and spoke up, I have some information you might like. Nagato and Konan not dropping their emotionless masks. Jiraiya began his smile again before speaking, as I said 4 weeks ago there was a surviving member of the Uzumaki clan, but at the time she took the name of the Senju for a long time and very few outside the village knew that she was indeed a surviving member of the Uzumaki clan. However, some years back she died, leaving only 2 left to the bloodline of Rikuto. Nagato looked on and asked, what information could you have about my bloodline that I don't already know? Jiraiya smiling more looked at him and said, I know about Rikuto, the Sage of 6 Paths, 2nd strain of his bloodline, the last surviving Uzumaki who a rare few can connect to. The famed clan. His name is Naruto Uzumaki, son of the late Yondaime Hokage of Konoha. Both Nagato and Konan masks dropped after knowing the name finally. At first Nagato didn't believe that there was a last Uzumaki and that this was a trick to look into his village. Convince me that he is a descendant of the Rikuto bloodline. Jiraiya knew that he had him now. The blood red hair color you share was exactly the same as Kushina Uzumaki, but most of all was a unique chakra she showed in her youth. Although it only worked in dire circumstances, she never knew what it was. I'm confident that Naruto has this chakra and that he will use it. After he told Nagato that, he walked up to the taller man asking, tell me more. Jiraiya walked over to a seat close by and sat down, crossing his arms over his chest, saying, gladly, but first tell me a bit about what this chakra supposedly does. Konoha, Hyuga compound. Hayashi was pacing back and forth in his office and his sister-in-law Kana was sitting eagerly by the door. When a Hyuga guard walked and bowed down and reported, "Lord Hayashi, there is still no sign of Hisashi-sama anywhere." Kana seemed to break down in tears. Hayashi spoke up, "Something's wrong, he's been gone 2 days. The Hokage hasn't seen him or sent him on any missions and the elders haven't seen him either. Continue the search, look in every alley, every training ground, even the forest of death, search even on the outside walls of Konoha if you have to, but I want Hisashi Hyuga standing in this very spot by the end of the day." The Hyuga guard bowed and left to gather more for a search party. "Hayashi-sama, what will we do if we don't find him?" Kana spoke up. "I don't know, Kana, I just don't know. Does Neji know?" Hayashi asked. Kana shook her head and said, "No, I told him he was away on mission and won't be back for some time." Hayashi, looking at the broken down women, told her, "I suspect foul play." Immediately her head shot up and asked, "What?" Hayashi looked at her and said, "Never mind, right now you are the branch family's head, order all of them to stay within the compound, no one leaves, not even the children, for the academy. I'll ask the Hokage to send some instructors here under high surveillance. Tonight I want you to spend with your sister." Kana, with dry tears in her eyes, looked at him. "I will sleep in one of the extra rooms, you need all of the comfort you can get. Now go get some sleep." Kana nodded, bowed and made her way to Neji's room instead to spend time with her son. On her walk to her son's room she passes her father-in-law and former clan head, Rick Hyuga. She offered a polite bow, which he did not return or acknowledge. He continued his walk to his son's office. Entering the office he bows to his son and asks, "Still no luck in finding your brother?" Hayashi turned to his father and replied, "None, it's as if he's disappeared." Rick looked at him and told him, "Stay strong, you will find him soon." With another formal bow he turns to leave and thinks to himself, "At least my 2 puppets are good for something, they haven't found Hisashi yet. This will happen yet again to those 3 soon." He walked away into the shadows with a grin. Next morning, Neji was in the garden with Naruto and Hinata training some more, when Naruto stopped for a brief moment to say, "Neji-san, look, everything will be okay, I'm sure he's just away on a mission." Hinata nodded and added, "Yes, Arsene is probably on his way home right now with his squad." Neji wasn't as optimistic. He was unsure since his mother came into his room to lay with him crying. The 3 were being watched by Hana, who was sitting at a park bench. Before Hayashi's announcement saying that all Hyugas were to remain inside the compound, another Hyuga guard, looking to be in his 30s, walked over to Hana and whispered, "Lady Hana, Lord Hayashi has found Hisashi-sama at the Forest of Death. Apparently it is relating to the inner workings in the clan. Lord Hayashi has requested that you, Naruto-chan, and Hinata-chan be secretly escorted to the Forest of Death at the training facilities monitoring room for safety. Why Naruto and Hinata as well? And what about Hanabi?" The guard spoke again. "He thinks there is an attempt on their lives by some of the clan members and believes that the compound isn't safe at the moment. Hayashi-sama has assigned those who are closest to him to watch over your youngest child." Hana's eyes shot open and told him, "Why the Forest of Death?" The Hyuga replied, "He didn't say much about it, only saying it would be the last place the traitors within the compound would look. The Hokage has agreed to this as well." Hana took a minute before telling him, "Okay. But Neji goes with us as well. His mother is with Hayashi, I presume." The guard nodded and said, "Hi. Me and a second escort will wait for you. Everyone thinks you're taking the kids to the park again as per Lord Hayashi's arrangement, so that's what everyone will believe." The ninja disappeared from sight. Hana stood up and walked over to the 3 and said, "Okay, you 3, we're going somewhere safe. Pack a few days worth of clothes and meet me back here in 15 minutes. Naruto and Neji looked at Hana and asked, "What's going on?" Hana told the 3, "Just do as I say, go now." The 3 jumped and quickly ran to their rooms to pack. Hana took this time to look for her 3-year-old Hanabi. She approached her room to see that 6 guards were posted outside her door. She didn't know why, but something told her this might be the last time she might see her daughter. 5 minutes later, Hinata was holding hands with Naruto, trembling. Naruto looked at her and tightened his grip and said, "Don't worry, Hinata-chan, I'll protect you no matter what." Hinata stopped immediately and smiled. He always knew how to make her feel better. "Naruto-kun is always there for me. I feel stronger when I'm with you, and more at peace." Naruto gave his famous smile that he only gives to certain people and said proudly, "Well, I have to be able to do all those things. After all." Naruto paused for a moment and looked Hinata in her eyes and said, "You're my girl, right?" Hinata blushed 10 shades of red before saying, "Hi, I'm Naruto-kun's girl." Naruto, still holding her hand, walked her over to a bench and said, "Hinata-chan?" Hinata still had a blush, looked at him. "Yes, Naruto-kun. I was being 100% serious when I said all of that. I will protect you even if it costs me my life. Because you're one of my precious people." Hinata couldn't help but be overjoyed. She then leaned in to give him a kiss on his cheek and said, "For good luck." This time Naruto blushed, and out of the corner of his eye he saw Neji making his way to them with backpack on. The 3 sat there and waited for the remainder of the time, waiting for Hana. 10 minutes later, Hana was being escorted to the garden by the guard who reported to her, and they were accompanied by a second guard, but this one was younger and looked to be in his early 20s. They had continued walking until the 3 found the kids sitting on a bench and waved them over. The 6 began their walk toward training ground 44, the Forest of Death. As they began to get closer and closer, when Naruto tugged at the younger guard's arm and asked, "So why are we coming here?" The guard said nothing as they continued. Naruto was about to say something again when Hana placed a hand on his shoulder and shook her head at him. Naruto nodded and they continued to walk in silence. Once they entered, Naruto and Neji kept on exchanging glances between each other as if telling each other something. The younger Hyuga guard was in the front. Behind him, walking side by side, was Naruto and Neji, then Hana holding Hinata's hand. Finally bringing up the rear was the mature Hyuga. Suddenly they came to a stop in the clearing. Speaking up, Hana said, "Who ordered you to do this?" The young Hyuga spoke up, "How long have you known? And why did you come with us knowing it was a trap?" She replied, "When Naruto asked you why come here. Naruto's rank in this family is that he is to be treated as a main household, and for you to deny his question is below a branch member. Besides, I don't know how many of my clansmen are in on this, so we are no safer there than here." There was a brief pause before it happened. Out of nowhere she felt a sharp pain in the base of her spine and was sent flying forward 10 feet. Hinata, Naruto and Neji turned to see the mature Hyuga attack Hana. Naruto demanded, "Why did you do that?" Neji began the assault, first sending a flurry of juken punches at the Hyuga's way, which he either sidestepped, blocked or countered. Naruto immediately turned and told Hinata, "Go to Obasan now." Not arguing, she ran to her mother to check on her. While all of this was going on, the younger guard stood and watched as Naruto helped Neji attack the older Hyuga. The 2 were out of their league as the guard was slowly shutting down their systems. "Enough, you two!" yelled the older guard. He looked at them, and they looked like they were about to faint. Hana slowly woke up, but couldn't feel her legs, and she demanded, "Why are you doing this, Jiro, Kairo?" The younger Jiro answered, "We never wanted to do this, but Rek told us if we didn't, then he would kill us and our children the same way he killed Hisashi-sama." Everyone was in shock. Kairo looked to a broken down Neji and said, "Your father was a good man. He stood up against Rek and we wanted to as well, but my son is all I have left to remember my late wife." Neji angrily said, "Why would you kill my father? My mother is in so much pain as it is, and you pull this now?" Neji cried until Jiro continued, "I know we can never ask for forgiveness, but should everything go according to plan, everything will be alright." With that he rushed Naruto with a kunai in hand and stabbed him in his chest. Too weak to react Naruto or counter, he was hit. In horror, Hinata screamed as loud as she could, "Naruto-kun! Neji made the mistake of turning his back to Karo as he is hit from behind right between his shoulder blades, passing out on impact. Hana watched as both boys fell to the ground motionless and the color in their eyes faded. Hinata ran to Naruto's side and ripped some of her kimono so she could try and stop the bleeding. Out of nowhere the Hyuga guards grabbed their heads and screamed in pain. There was a slight glow coming off of their heads behind their leaf headbands. Hana turned to see a ninja walking in the clearing. She hoped it was Hayashi, but to her horror it was Ryuk. Ryuk had his Byakugan activated and had his index and middle fingers together pointed at the guards, screaming, "You dare betray me! I ordered you two to kill them and you only momentarily paralyzed the witch, you deliberately missed the demon's vitals, and didn't force any chakra into your palm thrust into the weakling's back. You're trying to buy time, aren't you, hoping someone would be smart enough to search this area, aren't you? Looks like I will have to end this myself." Both Jiro and Karo fell to the ground, still squirming in pain. Hana looked and shouted, "Why are you doing this, Ryuk? What have the children done to you?" He shot a glare at her and yelled, "This clan has become weak, you, Hinata, and the demon have turned this clan weak with your emotions. This clan was supposed to show no emotion. We are to be feared, and if anyone found out about those weaknesses, then everything our ancestors fought for would be for nothing. It won't matter now though, everything is planned out." Hana looked at him and asked, "What do you mean?" With a grin he said, "It's simple. These two were set up a plan to kill the Kyuubi. They lure him here. You, Hinata, and Neji were witnessing all of this and bravely follow and try to help. The two are forced to kill you to keep you quiet, not being able to get over killing the clan head's wife and daughter as well as the branch family's head's son, and fear of Ibeki. They decide to take these pills filled with a potent poison. Hayashi, heartbroken, will be forced to train your daughter Hanabi to be the emotionless heir, and everything will go on as it should. I have it all planned out. These two also will be blamed for Hayashi's death as well." He looked at the guards as they were slowly getting up again, pulling kunai out ready to attack. He then activated the seal, forcing them to the ground again. Then he felt a sharp pain in his right leg. Hinata had gotten up and hit him dead on his right thigh and behind his shin. He retaliated with a juken to Hinata's stomach, sending her flying toward Naruto. Hana yelled, "Stop now! Don't hurt my daughter! Kill me if you have to, but I'm begging you, let them go." Hinata, unable to move, gripped her stomach in pain, looked over at an unconscious Naruto and whispered in his ear, "I love you, Naruto-kun." Before passing out in pain, "No, I will let you sit there and watch as I finish off these two children and the demon Uzumaki. By the time reinforcements arrive I will be gone, so I must wrap this up quickly. My stand-in won't last long." He slowly walked over to the kids. Then it happened. The guards, Hana, and Ryuk felt a surge of killing intent. They didn't know where it was coming from, all they knew is it was serious. Naruto's mindscape. Where am I? Naruto awoke in water that went all the way up to his ankles. He looked at his surroundings and saw that he looked like he was in a sewer, but it was different. There were prison cells along the wall, each with a number above each one. He walked for some time, peering inside the cells to see nothing in each one before hearing, "Follow my voice." Naruto looked around but saw no one. He heard the voice again, "This way." He began to run to find the voice. After a minute of searching he found a massive cage with a paper on the front hat read "Seal." Naruto looked around for the voice and found nothing and was about to leave when he heard, "Do you want to protect everything that is precious to you?" Naruto slowly turned around to see glowing red eyes and he fell to the ground in shock. "WWW, who are you?" Naruto said in a frightened stutter. "Not important right now. You didn't answer my question. Do you want to protect them, because that little Hyuga girl is in danger?" When asked that, he forgot all about the giant glowing red eyes in front of him and all of his fear disappeared. Without a second thought he said, yes, I want to protect her." The fox smiled and said, "I like you, boy. Despite staring down Giant Fox, you don't show no sign of fear when you want to protect something." Naruto looked at the fox and said, "Are you going to help me?" The fox grinned and said, "Yes, I will. Focus all of the chakra you have to your eyes, that will allow you to use my power." But be warned, once you protect your precious people you will fall into a coma for at least a month, so I may heal you and adapt your body to use my power better." Naruto stood there and asked, "How do I focus the chakra to my eyes?" The fox looked at him and said, "Like I said, focus." Naruto closed his eyes and began to focus, and he started to feel different and he felt more powerful. Before he was done he heard Hinata's voice echoed throughout the halls, "I love you, Naruto-kun." Naruto's eyes shot open and he yelled, "Hinata, I'm coming to save you right now." The fox couldn't help but smile wider. "I'll see you again, boy." The fox let out a feral scream, making Naruto fade until he disappeared out of his mindscape. The fox looked where the boy stood and said to himself, "He truly is your son. But I must say I never would have thought he was part of your lineage." The fox looked at one of the smaller cells in the hall and said, "So you gave him that power? With my chakra and yours mixed together, he can't be stopped." Forest of Death. After yelling he was going to kill the children, that's when the killing intent arose. Searching frantically for the source he heard a deep and angry voice behind him yell, "You hurt my Hinata. I'm going to make you pay." Rook turned around to see Naruto holding Hinata in a tight embrace. There looked to be silver and red chakras surrounding him. He noticed Naruto's hair was more spiky, he had claws, his teeth were more animalistic, but what he saw shocked him the most. Naruto set Hinata back down, then dashed forward so fast the elder couldn't even attack or block. Naruto grabbed the back of the man's head and brought his head down to meet Naruto's knee full force. This sent the Hyuga flying back 50 feet into a tree. Naruto crouched down and lunged the 50 feet toward Rook and hit with punches and head kicks at the elder. Before his death, the last thing he would ever see was his eyes. Each eye was bloodshot red, but each eye had a slit in each one just like the Kyuubi. A Megakure graveyard. Nagato stood with Konan in the rain in front of Yakugo's grave. Konan set flowers made of paper on his grave. Both said a silent prayer for him. Just as Nagato finished his silent prayer his eyes shot open. Konan looked at her comrade and asked, "What's wrong?" Nagato was staring up at the rain and said, "Jiraiya was right, I can sense it, that chakra." Konan stood by and said, "So then it's true you have Rikuto's eyes, but he has his chakra." Nagato smiled, "If everything goes according to plan I will be able to meet this Naruto face to face." He said the last part with excitement in his voice. "Hyuga compound, where are they?" Hayashi was yelling. "Lord Hayashi, we are still searching but we cannot find Lady Hana, Lady Hinata, Naruto-kun or Neji-kun." Hayashi was furious. Not only had his brother gone missing but now they were missing. "I want them found right in." Before he could finish he felt it, and so did everyone else in the village. "This chakra. It can't be. Naruto. There is something wrong with it though." Hayashi yelled out, "Get all available Hyugas and head into the direction of this chakra spike now." The guard bowed and began getting the others. Hayashi grabbed his gear and bolted for the Hyuga compound main entrance with at least 20 Hyugas following. "Hana, Hinata, Neji, Naruto. Be alive when I get there." Hokage Tower. Sarutobi was finishing his paperwork when he felt the chakra spike. "I know this chakra. It's the chakra of the Kyuubi. But there's something or someone else there with them? I can feel another massive chakra source there. Naruto's in danger." He pulled open the window and yelled, "Anbu, get here now." He leapt from his office down to the ground. Not only were the Anbu showing up but so did some Jounin and Chunin. The army of ninjas began their run across the village as more gathered along the way. "We will head to the source. All of you listen up. Whatever you see there will be kept as a S-rank secret. Am I understood?" All of the ninja who were with him yelled, "Yes, Lord Hokage." Sarutobi thought to himself, "I hope that we are not too late." Thank you for watching.